So why do we ride motorcycles? Why do I ride? Why do you guys ride? Why do other people ride? That's what I want to discuss in today's video. Let's get right to it. So I'm just leaving my parents' fancy little neighborhood over there, helping them out with some stuff, and wanted to make a video while I was out and about today on why we ride motorcycles. You know, as I was thinking about this, there's all sorts of reasons why people ride motorcycles. You have people in certain parts of the world, in particular places like China and India come to mind, that they ride for practicality. You know, as much traffic and as crazy as the traffic is for some of those places, having a smaller vehicle that allows you to go in and out of traffic, having a cheaper vehicle probably makes a lot of sense. But here in America, that's a little different. A lot of people don't ride for practicality purpose. Just had to make sure that exhaust was still working there. Those people are probably like, what the heck is that guy doing? Okay, so, but yeah, you know, in America, it's probably more practical to drive a car. Places are so far apart that we drive to, we typically need to be carrying things or have more than one person in the vehicle. And there's somebody riding. What's going on, guy? What's up, dude? Oh, he's not gonna wave back, but that's okay. I know he wanted to. He's just focused.
At least he's focused on something. Yeah. Yes.
So, you know, in a car, think of all the different benefits. Practicality-wise,
I've heard it both ways.
you have the protection from the elements. You have, most importantly, in my opinion, a much higher amount of safety. You have, you know, a big hunk of metal and bars and seat belts and airbags, all those things that protect you from dangerous situations. So why do we choose to ride motorcycles? Well, there's a lot of different reasons that ones, even here in America, ride for. Some of them are, you know, what you might call adrenaline junkies. That thrill that you get from being on the edge of life and death. I don't think that that's the majority of riders, though. You know, those are the guys that are out there doing wheelies, going down the interstate and weaving in and out of traffic at 150 miles an hour. You know, the guys that are just going crazy, they don't typically live very long. And, you know, if you really sit down and think about it, if you're out riding and the number of riders you see, most are not doing that kind of stuff. And even though that is a negative stigma that has kind of landed on a lot of motorcyclists, it's really not the primary way that people drive their motorcycles. So what do the other people ride for? Well, for me in particular, there is that sense of adventure that you get from riding a motorcycle, kind of excitement that you get, that adrenaline and everything. That is a small part of it, just like anything that I enjoy doing outside, such as snowboarding or skateboarding or you know, water skiing, surfing. I love doing all that kind of stuff, and part of it is the thrill and the excitement of it. But I don't still think that that is the primary reason why I and others ride motorcycles. In fact, most of the time, I'm not really focused on getting that kind of a hit. If I was constantly out riding and getting that kind of adrenaline rush, I think I would get fatigued and get tired of it real quick. So what I think whenever I sat down and really thought about this, why is it that I like riding motorcycles? It was kind of a difficult question to answer, because I kept just answering to myself, I like it because I like riding. And it's like, well, why? Why do I like riding? I don't know. I just really enjoy it. So I really started dissecting my thoughts. And part of it is, it's a huge stress relief. And, you know, with the way things are going nowadays, with ones being sheltered in place and having to worry about all sorts of anxieties with the economy, and you name it. People are dealing with it nowadays. I don't have it as bad as many do, but I do have my own anxieties that I'm dealing with. And having the ability to go out on my motorcycle and enjoy a ride really does help me, especially the fact that I can get outside. It's something, I used to be more inclined for entertainment purposes to lean towards playing video games. And now that I'm working at home and my entertainment's at home and everything's at home, I get tired of it. And so I really, it's pushed me towards more motorcycle riding than ever. And so the interesting thing that I found was a study that was done by UCLA, and they really did a study that just backed up what people are already seeing and what they're saying. I've watched a few videos on a few different people, and a common theme was that it's something that gives them stress relief. It helps them to, a lot of people say that it gives them, they feel free, it gives them the freedom of riding. I have a hard time with that concept as far as riding goes. I never felt like I wasn't free unless I was riding in a motorcycle, so I'm not sure that I would describe it that way myself. But I think more what they're trying to say when they say they're free is they're more in tune with their environment. So when you're out and about, and like right now, this scenery, oh man, look at these yellow fields. Wow. I didn't plan this, by the way. This is just beautiful out here. When people are out driving a car, they can get the same experience, right? But it's not the same experience. They can see the same thing, but they don't have all of their senses engaged with their environment. They're not smelling and feeling, their environment. You're not as close to what's going on around you as you are in a motorcycle. When you're in a motorcycle, you are very connected to everything around you, and you feel like you're here. When you're in a car, you kind of feel like you're watching a video almost. You're very disconnected from what all is around you, because it's built that way. It's to protect you to make it more comfortable in bad climates. But when you're in good climates, you want that connection, that raw connection that a motorcycle really gives you. So that's a big part of it. But this study at UCLA, it showed some very interesting points. So what they did was it was like 70 something people, and I think after they dissected the data and took out the outliers, it was around 50 people that they actually monitored, and they did 3 different things. First of all, they said, okay, what is it like when you're sedentary, sitting around doing nothing? They measured things after they had been driving a car, and then finally they measured you after riding a motorcycle. So they put on this shower-like cap that measured their brainwave activity. They also took urine samples and tested their hormone levels after each session. And what they found was that basically after a ride, you got essentially the same benefits as a light workout, like a light jog or a light run, a very light one, probably, because it only raised your heart rate about 11%. But it did other things too. It raised your epinephrine hormone, which is essentially like your adrenaline hormone, your energy. It raised that by 27%, I believe it was. And it actually lowered your cortisol hormone by about 28%. It was either 27, 28%. The both of those were 27 or 28%. And so, yeah, what it did essentially, it showed that you get the same benefits as a light workout. You get lowered stress hormone, and that really backs up why a lot of people say that they feel like they get a stress relief from their motorcycle. It's because they actually are. You're actually lowering your stress hormone levels. And why is that? Well, part of that comes into play with what they found with your brain activity. So the brain activity needed to focus on the road was continually going, obviously, or you wouldn't be able to drive. But everything else, they tried different like sound tests and whatnot, and tested your brain activity as to reacting to that. And compared to the baseline, there was very little activity. In other words, you weren't getting distracted easily by sounds that they tried to initiate or other things in your environment. You're able to tune out other things, and it's likened in some of the articles that I read to basically a meditative state. So it gives you basically this calm, meditative ability to push aside worries. You're not thinking about the worries of the day, and thus it gives you the lowering of the stress and all that. So backed up by science, UCLA really showed, I feel like, a very interesting point there. But I'm really curious why you guys ride. I know why I ride, and I went over a few reasons why other people ride. Are you one of those adrenaline junkies that goes out there and does crazy wheelies and all sorts of stuff? Or do you get out there just for the stress relief like I do? Or maybe there's another reason that I didn't cover. Please let me know down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will catch you in the next one.